Germany now has the largest current account surplus in the world in absolute terms, larger than China. The second, I think, even more interesting fact is that if you take Northern Europe, the Northern European countries, although some of them are not in the Eurozone, some of them are, but Switzerland, for example, closely pegs to the Euro, so does Denmark. Sweden and Norway is a little bit of a different question. But if you actually take Northern Europe, the current account surplus of the last 12 months of Northern Europe is about $520 billion. Larger than the Chinese surplus ever was. Now, through the same kind of reasons we criticize China, is it not fair to criticize Northern Europe in similar terms? It's a question, I'm not affirming it. Both from the point of view of just global balances and global macroeconomics, subtracting $500 billion from effective demand in the world economy, but also very much, of course, from the point of view of the European debate. And here I will say something which I heard with my own ears. A Northern European finance minister in Davos, he was asked, what is the secret of your success? By the way, it wasn't the German finance minister. He said, well, very simple. You have to have a current account surplus and a budget surplus. And since we cannot trade with outer space, it's not feasible, of course, to do that worldwide. But anyway, what about this Northern European huge and growing current account surplus?
I mean, it's just a confirmation of what we said a moment ago, that these current imbalances have nothing to do with trade policy. Because by definition, EU members have the same trade policy. So it's a good test case of why this is not the problem and why it cannot be addressed through trade policy action. It's a macroeconomic problem. It is a competitiveness problem, and we know that part of the present crisis in the euro system has to do with too much divergence in competitive realities of the economies. And that's something which us, or more precisely, the ones which were the diplomats at the time that decided on the disciplines of the Eurozone, had missed. Now, not that the issue had not been raised. If you take the Delors report that preceded Maastricht, there is quite a lot of that sort of solidarity, competitiveness issue in his report. But for reasons which are their reasons, diplomats took in that what they thought would be acceptable to their governments and populations, and not what was not acceptable. But this needs to be fixed. And in a way, it is slowly being fixed, probably in conditions which are socially and economically not good, but it is what's happening for the moment. I spent 2 hours with Mario Monti a fortnight ago in Rome. That's what he's doing. Now, of course, he's doing it the hard way. It probably would have been much better to do it within a system of disciplines that would have been more binding, including in the case of Greece.
But Keynes would have said that at least part of the adjustment should be done by the Northern European surplus countries.
But this is what will happen with time. As it is, by the way, this is what's happening with the Chinese surplus.
It's happening with the Chinese because they actually have a appreciating real exchange rate and the macroeconomic consequences of it.
Moderately.
But if,
Moderately.
but
that's the IMF.
Shouldn't German wages rise much faster?
And I think it will happen. It will happen.
I sure hope so.
It will happen.